So, we enter the portal, play the gummy ship mini game, and arrive at the 8th and final Disney movie to be permanently ruined for me, Aladdin. And yes, you heard me right. This was the final movie to be ruined for me. Having explored 3 Disney worlds that were all awful, my expectations for Agrabah were very low. But here's the thing. Agrabah was different. Agrabah was the world that finally made me snap. Agrabah was the world that made me accept reality. This game would not get any better, and I would never be able to like it, no matter how hard I try. Let's just get this over with. So, we begin with Jafar walking with Maleficent, which by the way, only further proves that the game should allow you to go crazy with the party members. Let me explore Wonderland with Tarzan and Aladdin on my team, damn it. I don't care if it would make the lore more confusing than it already is. Come on. You mean to be telling me that in Kingdom Hearts 3, I can't go into the Big Hero 6 world, with Buzz Lightyear and Mike Wazowski on my team? That's fucking lame. Call this a nitpick all you want. I'm sorry for wanting the game to actually be fun, and embrace its ridiculous concept. Besides, I know for a fact that if Kingdom Hearts was an RPG featuring characters from a different animation studio, and not Disney, you would all be bringing this up as a criticism towards the game. If Kingdom Hearts was a Nickelodeon game, instead of a Disney game, people would be criticizing the fact that you can't have Sora, SpongeBob, and Danny Phantom fight enemies in the Rugrats world or anything like that. Whatever. Let's focus on the game. The two of them are discussing where the keyhole in Agrabah is, and how the Heartless will eventually find it. After that, Iago, I don't know how to correctly pronounce his name with this voice, flies in, and tells Jafar that he was unable to find Jasmine. Jafar then asks Maleficent why they need to find Jasmine, as they could surely find the keyhole without her. Maleficent then tells Jafar that they need the 7 Princesses of Heart in order to open the final door. What is the final door? Who are the 7 Princesses of Heart? I don't know, and I don't care. Jafar then spawns a group of Heartless to look for Jasmine. Little do they know that Jasmine is secretly hiding behind a fruit stand. The game then immediately throws me into action without warning. You know, it would have been nice if the game gave me a little cutscene of the trio arriving at Agrabah, and seeing the Heartless there, so that way I could be prepared. But okay, actually, I shouldn't be asking for anything relating to cutscenes in Agrabah. That's an awful idea. You'll see why. After beating the Heartless, you then go into Main Street, where you have to beat up more Heartless. It's really boring. Next, after beating the Heartless again, we go into an alleyway, where we meet Jasmine. Jasmine reveals that Jafar is now the ruler of Agrabah, and tells the trio who he is. She then tells the trio about how Aladdin helped rescue her from Jafar. Unfortunately for the gang, Jafar was paying attention to everything Jasmine was saying. Sora tells Jasmine to run, as the trio prepare to fight Jafar. In my head, I was thinking, for fuck's sake, a boss already? But as it turns out, Jafar just spawned some Heartless, and we have to fight them. It's still really boring. Next, after that, damn. I wonder how many times I've said after that throughout this whole series. We head up into Aladdin's house, and we meet the magic carpet, which flies off into the desert. We then go and follow the carpet. At the desert, we find the carpet, and we ride it. Initially, I thought this would lead into a mini game where you ride the magic carpet, similar to how Deep Jungle had that tree sliding mini game. But no such mini game happens. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing is up for debate. Anyways, Aladdin and Abu are sinking in the sand, and we have to defeat more Heartless. I swear to God, can this game please be fucking fun for once? As I said before, this game is either boring or frustrating, but never fun. Beating up the Heartless is not fun. It's repetitive. After that, we rescue Aladdin from the sand. Aladdin pulls out the magic lamp, and wishes for the Heartless to disappear. The genie then comes out of the lamp, and grants Aladdin's wish. The Heartless then disappear. Back at the desert, Aladdin explains to the trio that he was looking for treasure. He tells the trio about the magic carpet and the magic lamp, and how the magic lamp holds the genie. The genie then pops out, and explains what he does, in his traditionally zany, fast-paced style. Again, it's charming. I don't get it. How could a game that is this charming and faithful to its source material be so awful to play through? Every time there's a charming moment in this game, I think to myself, wait, why do I even hate this game in the first place? It's got so many cute, charming moments. And then I remember the unskippable cutscenes and the pointless gummy ship mini games. I remember the struggle that I went through trying to beat Clayton, the Cerberus, and that fucking thing in Traverse Town. And just like that, I'm back to having the same bad mood that I had before. Anyways, the genie tells Aladdin that he granted his first wish, which was to make the Heartless disappear, and that he now has 2 wishes left. For his second wish, Aladdin wishes to become a fancy prince, but he asks to put the wish on hold until they get back to Agrabah. Goofy asks Aladdin why he wants to become a prince, and Aladdin responds by saying that he wants to impress Jasmine. Sora tells Aladdin that Jasmine is in trouble, which prompts Aladdin to hurry back to Agrabah. The game then gives me the option to add Aladdin onto my team. Surprise surprise, you can only have him on your team when you're in Agrabah. What a shocker. Anyways, we fly back to Agrabah, enter the bazaar, fight more Heartless, and jam the keyblade into this keyhole, which opens a gate. As we enter the gate, we arrive at the exact moment everything goes to shit. We go inside the palace gates, and we jump down to where Jafar and Jasmine are. A cutscene then starts. Aladdin wishes for the genie to save Jasmine. Jafar turns around, and notices the genie carrying Jasmine. However, the parrot, whose name I cannot pronounce correctly, steals the lamp, and gives it to Jafar, which cancels the wish. The genie disappears, and Jasmine drops down into a vase spider, thing, to be exact. Jafar then vanishes, and 2 vases break and turn into, I don't exactly know, and we begin a boss fight, with this vase centipede thing. Now, I've brought this up 2 times already, but this time, it's significantly worse than with Clayton and the Cerberus. The cutscene that precedes this boss is a rather lengthy cutscene, and I was really hoping that this would be the one time the game doesn't force me to sit through a cutscene every time I want to try and beat a boss. I die during this boss, and I press try again. I spawn in front of the palace gates, and I jump down again. The cutscene plays again. There's no way. There's no fucking way this game is that cruel, but it is. Now, for comparison, the cutscene that precedes the Clayton boss fight is 34 seconds long. The cutscene that precedes the Cerberus boss fight is 25 seconds long. The cutscene that precedes this boss is 54 fucking seconds long. Almost a full minute. Are you fucking kidding me? Look, the boss fight itself isn't that bad. I get what you're meant to do. You have to defeat all of these vase spiders to prevent the centipede thing from fully becoming its true form. And once you defeat the vase spiders in one area, the centipede parts go into another area, and you have to repeat the process again. It wouldn't be that bad if I didn't have to sit through a nearly minute-long cutscene every time I tried to beat the boss. I had my 4th fit of rage during this cutscene, but this time, it was different. I'm pretty sure I had a straight-up fucking mental breakdown because of this cutscene. I tried to beat the boss, and then I died again, and I just sat there at the continue screen, yelling at the top of my lungs, asking why do people like this game so much, and why did so many people want Sora to join Smash Ultimate. Just like before, my mother came in to check on me, and I tried telling her that everything was fine. That's when I knew to stop playing the game for the time being. I can't stand this game. I sincerely don't know how a game that has this many flaws could be considered a good game, let alone one of the greatest video games ever made. What was it that I said during part 1 again? It's a bit funny, because most of my criticisms toward the game are rather trivial and nitpicky. However, there are a few genuine flaws that this game has, and these flaws are so strong that they completely ruin the game for me. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I said that. This game is filled to the brim with flaws that completely ruin it, and make it impossible to have fun with. The only problem I have with this game, that could be considered a nitpick, are the coconuts at the beginning of the game. That's it. Every other problem that I have with this game is 100% valid. You could argue that I'm simply bad at the game. That it's not the game's fault, but rather, it's my fault. Except that can't even be a valid argument, because none of the problems that I have brought up throughout this whole series have anything to do with me being bad at the game. Let's look at some of the biggest problems I have with this game. The gummy ship mini games are pointless as hell. The cutscenes are unskippable. There are objects that you could interact with despite looking like they're part of the background. And the health bars for the enemies are not visible by default. Now, tell me, what do any of these problems have to do with me being bad at the game? There is literally no correlation between any of these problems and me being bad at the game. Kingdom Hearts is just a flawed game. It's as simple as that. And even if I was bad at the game, it still shouldn't fucking punish me by forcing me to sit through this long ass cutscene every time I want to try and beat this boss. How could anyone defend this? Better yet, how could any of the people that worked on this shitty game not see anything wrong with this? Seriously, not a single person at Disney or Square Enix, however the fuck you pronounce it, looked at this and thought that maybe the cutscenes should be skippable? Fuck off. I don't even think the Loud House has made me as angry as this game. I'm not even joking when I say that. This game has pissed me off in a way that no other game ever has. If I played this game as a kid, I would have hated it even more than I do now. I would have given this game no mercy. If I played this game before Sora joined Smash, instead of after, I would have been way more angry at his inclusion. I could easily envision it in my head. I played Kingdom Hearts as a kid, and I hate it with a passion. Many years later, I'm much older. I own a Nintendo Switch, and a copy of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's October of 2021, and the final Smash Ultimate character is about to be revealed. I get excited at who it could possibly be, and it ends up being that Disney son of a bitch that ruined my fucking childhood. All the horrific childhood memories of pointless and boring gummy ship mini games and unskippable cutscenes that feel like they last for a fucking eternity come rushing back to me. I could no longer enjoy Smash Ultimate and view it the same way that I did when I first got it. You might think that I'm overreacting, but trust me, if I have gotten this angry with the game at my current age, I can't even begin to imagine what it would have been like if I played this as a kid. The disappointment. The absolute disappointment that I would have felt if I played this game as a kid. You have no idea. It's worth noting as well, that when I was a kid, I was obsessed with cartoon crossovers. I loved seeing my favorite cartoon characters interact with each other when I was a kid. Johnny Bravo meets Scooby-Doo. Timmy Turner meets Jimmy Neutron. That sort of thing. Nicktoons Attack of the Toy Bots and Nicktoons Globs of Doom were two of my favorite video games as a kid. I'm in the minority here when I say that I always thought Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion was a pretty decent Smash Bros. Clone, even though it is obviously nowhere near as good as the real thing. Cartoon Network Racing is a fun little racing game that I still play from time to time. I'm not even ashamed to admit that. So it's easy to imagine 8-year-old me going into GameStop or whatever and seeing this game on the shelf. At first, I don't care for it all that much. I just dismiss it as an uninteresting anime RPG. However, I look closely at the cover art, and I see Donald Duck and Goofy on it. I then pick up the box, now curious as to what this game is, and I look at the back of the box, and I see all of these Disney characters on it. I see the genie from Aladdin, and Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and Jack Skellington, and all of these other Disney characters. I then get excited at the game, and I'm begging my mom and dad to get the game for me, which they do. On the car ride home, I'm looking at the game, with a look of excitement on my face. I'm over here thinking that this is gonna be a Disney version of Nicktoons Unite, or something along those lines. And then, I get home, and I play the game, and it's the most miserable piece of shit that I've ever played in my fucking life. And just like that, my childhood is completely ruined. Again, you might think that I'm overreacting, but listen, when I was a kid, I didn't fuck around with my cartoon crossovers. I mean it. All I wanna know at this point is why people say that this game is good, and I swear to God, if people say that this game is good because of the storyline, we are gonna have a fucking problem. Everyone that has ever talked about Kingdom Hearts, regardless of whether they like the game or not, has brought up that the storyline is confusing as hell and hard to understand. That's literally one of the few things I knew about the game before I actually played it. And now you wanna turn things around and tell me that the storyline is actually good? No, I'm not buying it. And don't you dare tell me that just because the storyline is confusing doesn't mean that it's a bad storyline, because that makes no fucking sense. Again, I have no idea if Kingdom Hearts is a story-based game or not, but it doesn't matter, because the storyline is confusing as hell, and the gameplay ranges from being boring to being frustrating. Either way, you lose. Honestly, I wish the confusing storyline was the only problem that I had with this game. A game can have a bad storyline, but as long as the gameplay is good, that's all that matters. People always say that graphics don't make a game, which is true, but guess what? Storyline doesn't make a game either. It's more important than graphics, but gameplay is still the #1 priority for any video game. Video games should be fun. Kingdom Hearts is not fun. It has a fun concept, sure, but that's not enough to save the game. I don't get it. How do you create one of the weirdest video game premises of all time, and then you turn it into this joyless garbage? A game where you have Disney characters team up with anime characters should be fun as fuck. Why is it so boring? Why is it so frustrating? The world may never know. I've heard some people claim that Kingdom Hearts 2 is significantly better in terms of gameplay, and I really hope that's the case. Maybe Kingdom Hearts has the misfortune of having a really fucking awful first game, but all of the other games in the series are really good. I have only played one game in this series, out of 9 games. Maybe the other 8 games in the series are actually masterpieces. I'll have no way of knowing though, because of how story-based this franchise is. I don't want to start playing Kingdom Hearts 2 without beating the first game, because there's a good chance I'll come across someone or something that'll make me go, wait, is this a new thing? Or was this in the first game, and I never got to it? Do you get what I'm trying to say? I should have brought this up in part 1, but I went a bit too far when I was preparing to get into this franchise. Not only did I buy the first game, but I also bought Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. I was that optimistic that I would love this franchise. Of course, I promised myself to never play either game until I beat the first game, and in the case of Kingdom Hearts 3, I would not play it until I beat basically every game in the franchise before it, and not just the first 2 numbered games. Then again, from what I've heard, Kingdom Hearts 3 has a much more mixed reception. People either love it or hate it. Considering how much I fucking hate the first game, I'm pretty sure this is a clear sign that I should never touch Kingdom Hearts 3. Who knows what horrors lie inside of that game. That leaves us with 6 games remaining. You could suggest that I watch and finish a let's play of the first game, and then play the other games in the series properly, but again, where's the fun in that? I own the first game physically, and I wanna finish it physically. That's not gonna happen though, because of how slow and bullshit this game is. I probably shouldn't say this, since I know nothing about speedrunning, but I imagine this is one of those games that's near damn impossible to speedrun. Between the gummy ship mini games and the unskippable cutscenes, I must wonder, what is the world record for this game? 400 years? Anyways, by another miracle, I beat the vase centipede thing. At this point, I was just done with this game. I have never been more disappointed playing a game before in my life. Admittedly, I might be overreacting when I say this, but I genuinely think that this game has given me a considerably more sour look towards Disney. I can't help but get this slightly edgy, sarcastic feel when I look at a Disney movie. Seriously, I can't look at anything Disney, or hell, I can't even see anything relating to Smash Bros, without getting into this mildly edgy, sour mood. You might think that this is an idiotic reason to hate Disney, but let me remind you all, that a bunch of boomers are currently angry at Disney, because of an extremely small kiss between 2 lesbians in Lightyear. Who's the one with the unjustified hatred now? Alright, let's get back on topic. I beat the vase centipede. I obtain Ray of Light. I don't know what the fuck it does, and I don't care either. The gang head out into the desert to follow Jafar and Jasmine. We get on the magic carpet, and start riding into the desert. We then reach the Cave of Wonders, which is now corrupted by the Heartless. Do you know what this means? It means we have to endure another fucking boss battle. Just wonderful. The game decides to be even more of an asshole, and gives me another boss battle, right after beating the previous boss battle. And once again, when you die, the game doesn't immediately start you off at the boss. No. Once again, for the fourth fucking time, you have to sit through an unskippable cutscene. To be fair though, at least the cutscene that precedes this boss is shorter than the cutscenes that precede the other bosses, being only 25 or so seconds long. But still, do you think I had the mental strength to beat this thing? Especially after spending an eternity trying to beat that vase centipede thing? Again, let me remind you all that every time you fail to beat this boss, the game forces you to watch a nearly minute-long cutscene that you cannot skip, before you can try to beat the boss again. I don't care if I sound like a broken record. Why can't you skip the fucking cutscenes? Nobody has the patience to sit through all of this crap, especially not kids, who would most likely not be very good at the game, because, you know, they're kids for fuck's sake. It was when I got to this boss, that I realized I could no longer make any more progress on the game. I was now stuck between 3 bullshit bosses. The Cerberus in Olympus Coliseum, this thing in Traverse Town, and the Tiger Head in Agrabah. I stopped playing the game by this point, because I knew that even if I beat one of these bosses, or hell, all 3 of these bosses, I know for a fact that there would still be more bosses with unskippable cutscenes that would follow. Very recently, I decided to see how many bosses this game had, since I recall only coming across 10 or so bosses during my playthrough. So I decided to go on YouTube, and see how many bosses this game had. By this point, I stopped giving a shit about spoilers, and I just wanted to see what I was missing out on. That's when I come across this video, and, good lord, 2 fucking hours long? Are you serious? And this is just for the first game only. Granted, it's for the final mix version, which again, I don't know how it differs from the original PS2 version that I played, but still, why is it 2 hours long? You think that's bad? Wait till you get a load of this. Every boss in Kingdom Hearts 2, the length of the video, 5 fucking hours long. No. I don't care if it's better than the first game in terms of gameplay. There's no way I am ever touching Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh god, just thinking about how many of those bosses would be preceded by unskippable cutscenes. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. Going back to the first game though, the video that I found had timestamps for each boss in the description, and as it turns out, I had only encountered 18 bosses during my playthrough, out of 58 fucking bosses. Is this game out of its mind? Imagine buying this game as a kid, thinking it'll be a fun Disney adventure, and then you play the game, and it just gives you this nonsense. This is ridiculous. I couldn't do this anymore. There would come a time where I would finally snap with this game, and this was that time. I did maybe 2 or 3 attempts to beat this thing, and then I finally called it quits. Let it be known that May 9th, 2022, was the final day I ever attempted to beat Kingdom Hearts, as well as the final day that I ever played it properly, not counting those brief moments where I had to record gameplay footage in order to prove certain points. You might say that I haven't played enough of the game to form an opinion on it, but let me remind you all that I have spent over 10 fucking hours on this game, which I think is enough time. How long do I have to keep playing this game before it becomes okay for me to critique it? How long is this fucking game anyways? I have spent over 10 hours playing this game, and it feels like I'm not even halfway done with it. It feels like I still have a very long way to go, but there's no way in hell I will ever see what this game has beyond these 3 bosses, unless I want to make my mental health even worse than it already is. I've actually considered doing something idiotic. I would start a new game, and get up to the part where Sora first meets Donald and Goofy in Traverse Town, and then, rather than make any further progress on the game, I would just stay in Traverse Town, and beat the shit out of as many Heartless as possible, until all 3 members reach level 99, which I presume is the maximum level. It would take fucking forever to do that, and yeah, it would be really stupid, but you know what? I consider it my revenge for this game. for all of the shitty things it has put me through. By the time I reach the Clayton boss fight, I just hit him once, and poof, he's fucking dead. I would get through the game with literally no problems whatsoever. That would be at a much later time though. For now, I would rather not touch the game for a very long time. Anyways, that's about it. My experience playing Kingdom Hearts has finally come to an end. What a miserable little game. I have never seen a game less deserving of its acclaim before in my life. I don't know what people see in this game, and I don't think I ever will. Despite the main journey being over though, we still have more stuff to talk about. In part 5, I will go over the positives and negatives that I have with this game, and give out my final thoughts on the game. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.